Well, hey there. Hey, here we are. This is our weekly episode of Point of Return, and usually I play a little video at the beginning just to kick it off to get it started. But I went ahead and wanted to talk to you and let you know that we've done a couple of different interviews today. One went almost an hour long, the other one almost a half hour long. So I'm just going to talk to you real quick because I want to cut them up into like 15-minute increments. So first, the interview we got today is with Sheriff Jerry Goodin of Scott County, Indiana. And so I'm going to just go kick in, play the first half of this interview, and then and probably before the week's up, I'll probably put the other half on here. Just give you a few days for this one to sink in, and I'll throw the part two on there. And so I'm just calling it always have backup. So always make your head, it's a little police phrase, always make sure you got your backup, and it's good in life, just always make sure you got your backup. So here, Chris and I are with Sheriff Jerry Goodin, so I'll just play it from there, and I'll see you afterwards. Here we are at the point of return, as we call it the point of return because you always hear point of no return. We don't want it to get to that point. We want everybody to be able to get back, and we're covering all sides. We're here with Sheriff Jerry Goodin right now, and full disclosure, Chris, Jerry, we all graduated together. We've known each other since probably kindergarten.
Good buddies our whole lives, actually.
Yes, sir.
So
I mean,
we're family almost.
yeah, it's
like
one of those
it is
things
for
where you
family.
don't see you for years, but then we get together and we start talking, especially music. That's where me and Jerry really bonded.
Mhm.
He'd show me lyrics he'd write, I'd show him lyrics I'd write,
And still listen to heavy metal today, buddy. That's the only thing I ever
yeah,
listen
so
to.
I got to find a heavy metal song to play at the end of this one.
There you go.
First concert we ever went to was Ozzy. Remember that?
Good
So,
time, good time.
so anyway,
Good
but
time.
as usual, it's just a conversation, and like I said, I don't know when that's coming in. I want to show what the sheriff's office says, things that they see, what they're doing, because I see like opioid rescue kits out there, all kinds of numbers for rehabilitation. I'm gonna get a paper to put some numbers in the show notes again, and
We want to show that Jerry's stopped a revolving, not stopped it, but he's put a slowdown on a revolving door on the jail, not just arresting people, but helping people get their lives back together. That's what he's most about, is helping people. Whichever way, he told me once that he'd arrest me every time he could until he helped save my life, and that meant something to me.
I guess that's a good question. Are you seeing as many repeat offenders as you say a year or
Right.
2 years ago?
No, we're not. And I'll tell you what is this. I campaigned back in 2018 when I ran for sheriff. My campaign was we was going to start a rehabilitation inside of the jail. We had everybody's attention when they get in there. You know what I'm saying? I knew that we could rehabilitate folks. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of the folks that was back here, a lot of folks that was dealing with was folks, you know what I'm saying, was just people just like me and you. We were buddies.
You probably knew them, yeah.
I knew it was, yeah. So it's like, I knew we could rehabilitate them. And I knew that despite what some people may say, that there are some people in this world, in this county, okay, that never had an opportunity to make it, okay? For whatever reason, you know what I'm saying, they never had an opportunity to make it. So what I wanted to do is when I took off, what I campaigned on is that every single person that comes in this jail, whenever they leave here, they cannot say anymore, well, I never had an opportunity. Nobody ever gave me a chance. Because we're giving people the chance. We're getting them clean. We're getting them educations. We're getting them job skills. You know, we've graduated welders. We're graduating
So
folks.
it's just about drug rehabilitation. You're actually giving them life skills.
That's it. That's the key to it. You know, here's the thing about it is this. You can, and this is what we said, you can rehabilitate someone all you want to. But if you don't get them the tools to be able to succeed after they're rehabilitated, they're going to fall right back into it. And I think that's what, this is what I see a lot of family members get misunderstood about how they need to act towards the folk, you know, the person in their home is an addict, okay? One of them is this, they want them to go to rehab. That's the first thing, well, he needs to go to rehab. Well, it's not going to do any good to go to rehab unless they want to go to rehab. They got it personally, you know what I'm saying, want it
themselves.
inside of their
Do
heart.
it for them, yeah.
Yeah.
And everybody has a different rock bottom. I found that out.
Yeah, absolutely. And what we want to do is just tell them, say, listen, they got to be ready to go. But not only do they got to be ready to go, they've got to be able to break this cycle when they get out of that jail. So right now, as soon as we graduate people out of our programs, I got 100% employment placement. I can guarantee them a job. It may not be the job they want at the time, but it's a job they start out with, and they can change, they can do whatever it is. It gives them a chance to succeed. We're getting them their educations. We're getting them help. Not only that, we follow them up to 2 years after they get out of jail to make sure that they haven't fallen off the wagon. You know what I'm saying, and went back and doing.
Let them know somebody cares about them.
That's it.
So that's
Let
not
them know
like
somebody cares about it.
that's not like being on probation. That's just you checking up.
We're doing it out of the goodness of our hearts, basically, is what it is. It's like you would follow
For
up on
free.
your brother. Yeah, we're doing it for free. We're just saying, hey, we're just checking on you, making sure everything's okay. If we get word that, you know, say John Doe calls in and says, hey, Timmy Doe's kind of down, maybe
We
need
got
to
a
check
buddy in
there.
here right now like that.
So, and we check on them. We send people, and I've called Chris, called numerous folks within the rehabilitation community that I know that deals with, you know what I'm saying, that's been dealing with maybe the person that's having the problem, and go to them and say, you need to go check on so-and-so so we can, you know, get him help wherever
Do
he
you
needs
get a
to
lot of
get him help.
pushback from people that just think you're the bad guy because you won't let them out of jail?
No,
or-
not really. You know,
it's
this is sad to say. This is extremely sad to say. The pushback that I got and that I still get is from people that, I don't know really how to say this, but it's like they don't want to help nobody.
Doubters.
The doubters, yeah. That's the pushback I
One
get whenever
think
I
there's
was
no
talking.
point of return.
Once an addict, always an addict. You
Yeah.
ain't gonna change them.
Yeah, that's not true. We've got case after case after, I mean, literally cases after case here that we've changed people's lives and people's lives have changed. You know what I'm saying? Hey, I care about everybody. I love everybody, man. I'm a people person.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think that's any
Yeah.
secret. You see what I'm saying? So I want to help folks, and I want to make sure that they get the right help that they need, and let them know that, hey, if you mess up, okay, here we got to try this again. If you mess up again, hey, we got to try this again. If it comes to the point where we think, hey, there's really nothing we can do to help you, then I'm just going to be honest with you. Then we get you shipped up to Indianapolis and you spend some time in prison. And that has a tendency, you know what I'm saying, to try folks out and you know what I'm saying, and grab some attention.
The
So
Bible says the righteous man falls 7 times, but he gets back up 8. So,
there you go. Yeah, it's all about helping people, man. It's all
Yeah.
about telling people you care about them and letting people know that you care. Not only we can sit back here and talk and say, hey, I care about you, brother, you know what I'm saying, what we do, but we're actually showing them, we're giving them jobs, we're giving them education, we're placing them in homes when they leave to make sure, you know, that they can succeed.
So
And I think that's the
ultimately it
difference.
comes
put
to
the
that,
actions behind your words.
Yeah, we're making it happen. And
Yeah.
here's the thing about it is this: talk about recidivism. I kind of got off track here a little bit with that the open door, revolving door. It's actually the official name of that's recidivism. The recidivism rates return offenders. So whenever I took over as sheriff, and up until the first couple of 2 or 3 years as I was sheriff, we averaged over 200 people a day in the jail, in Scott County Jail. Right now we're averaging down around 160 to 165.
Okay. Yeah.
So you know, that's a 30 person. We'll say even at the case scenario, even if it's just 25 people less that we're averaging a day, it's cost us $37.50 a day to house an inmate. Take $37.50 times 25 every single day. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The millions of dollars, literally millions of dollars that taxpayers are being saved. You see what I'm saying? For us to be able to do the programs and doing what we're doing is phenomenal. Really, it's a win-win situation. You know, everybody's it's catch-22. You got a good side
Well,
and bad
the
side.
states recognized you on that too, right?
Yeah.
The one like you, but the program.
It's a model. Yeah.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
Scott
we
County
have.
Sheriff's Department.
We have had the state drug czar come down. We had Senator at the time was Senator Braun. Now he's the governor. Came down. We've had numerous, you know what I'm saying, other folks come down and see what we're doing. We've received awards. We've got a whole, you know what I'm saying, table full of awards here that I've received. And the important thing to remember though is this. I'm going to be honest with you. Is this? I didn't do anything. I ain't done a daggone thing. I got people that work here. I've got
That's what I said,
employees.
it's the Sheriff's
Yeah.
Department.
Yeah, it's a
It's a
we're
team effort.
It's a team effort, and everybody's together on it. You know, I just had some crazy ideas. You know what I'm saying, and we put them into motion, and they've worked.
I think me and you spoke when you was running for sheriff about the ideas about the programs that need to be instilled in here and stuff.
Mhm.
So is it a Because what we've mainly been talking about addiction, does drugs seem to be the underlying?
Yeah, here's the thing about it is
80% maybe.
I'd say that, well, I'd say 90% of our folks, not 95% of our folks are in here on drug-related charges. They may not be a direct arrested for
Right.
possession of
Right,
drugs,
yeah.
but it
But
revolves
after that,
around
yeah.
the drug. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, and what we've done, we've been able to curb that with folks. I tell you, man, the number of success stories that I hear are really, it's really phenomenal, man. You know what I'm saying? And it's exciting to me because we knew this would work. We just had an idea of work. I'd talked to numerous folks. I'd talked to Chris. I'd talked to other folks who was battling.
Since
Mhm.
sitting here talking about it, I mean, it's
Mhm.
surprising that nobody else thought
Well,
to do that.
Here's the thing about it is this, and this is why I have to give all the praise and credit to my folks that work here. Okay, this is hard work for my folks. Okay, because normally you go to the jail, you know, they just shove them in a room. You know what I'm saying? And here's the cycle, real quick. I'll just tell you what the cycle was whenever we took over, and that's just what I wanted to break. You had a person that was addicted to drugs. Okay, they get arrested, they get brought to the jail. They were sitting in the jail. They didn't get any kind of training. They didn't get anything. All they was doing was sitting back in the back, and we kind of made a joke out of it, drinking Kool-Aid and eating Pop-Tarts all day.
Just
Talking about,
waiting for the
Watching
release.
TV.
Yeah.
Like that again.
yeah, watching TV, waiting, you know what I'm saying, until they got out. Well, here's the problem. When they got out, then automatically they caught a felony charge. So now they're back out on the streets, and when they were released, they've already made their families, everybody's mad at them. They've already went through all their options. They made their families mad. They've made their friends mad. They didn't have anywhere to go. So they'd walk the streets for 2 or 3 days, and guess what? Then at that second or third day, they started getting hungry. Okay?
Yeah.
And then it was like, well, what do I do? Do I go steal a candy bar and food, or do I go do drugs? And it's, so it was, and then it was either they would get arrested again then for theft, or they would get arrested for possession. And guess what? Then they were brought back in. The whole cycle started over again. That's what we've been able to break. That's the cycle that
Yeah.
we've busted and been able to break. When they come in here, the day they walk in here, the very day they walk in here, there is a folks. We have folks back in the back that work for the state IRAC's program. They talk to them and say, hey, listen, what's going on? What are you in here for? We're here to help you. You know, we have programs from day one. We've got, and I've even spoke to Chris about this and several others. You know, we got a lot of folks that want to come in and do programs.
Yeah.
Well, the thing
That's
about
what
it
I
is,
asked. Before you get to that point where you're getting arrested, or can people come to you for help?
yeah, absolutely. Yes,
Absolutely.
and they do all the time. And that's what I tell folks. That's what if you're having an issue and you need help, contact me.
So in my
Get a
show
hold of
notes,
me.
can I put like the sheriff's
Yes,
number in there
absolutely.
too? Then?
Everybody knows how to get me.
Yeah.
I've been here my whole life. My numbers are phone numbers. Everybody knows where I live. Everybody knows my phone numbers. So if you don't get a hold of me, if you don't call me, it's your phone. Does that make sense? I'm the easiest person in the
That
world to
phone
get a
of
hold of.
his, when we was campaigning this last time, it never stopped ringing.
But
Oh, yeah,
it's
I-
good.
But he always answered.
It's
Or if he didn't answer, he'd call you back. That's one thing I'd say. He keeps his word.
Well,
Well, I want to jump back a little bit on your history. You
Mhm.
was a state police officer
Mhm.
for a while, and you trained in Gary, Indiana, right?
I was sent to Northwest Indiana when I first came out
Which
as
is
the.
very rough.
Well,
They say it's really rough. That's why I was wondering.
Yeah, here's the thing
Rural
about it
county.
is this: everything's relevant to the situation you're in.
Okay.
You see where I'm coming
Yeah.
from? So if you're in Gary and you're dealing with the stuff that they dealt with in Gary, Indiana, on a daily, yeah, it's rough. It's tough. If you're in Clarksville, Indiana, and you're dealing with the stuff that they have to deal with, on a daily
Well,
basis,
it's
it's
kind
kind
of
of, it's kind of
different.
relevant.
Kind
you
of
know,
where I was
what it
getting
is.
is, did that help you, or
Yes.
what's the contrast between Scott County and Gary? I mean,
Yeah,
I know it's a bigger
helped.
city, and you got more
It
wide
did help.
range.
I actually worked on a task force, and what we did was we had it was myself, there was like 7 other guys, 7 other state troopers, and we had a Gary City police officer that rode with us, all of us did. And we worked afternoon shifts, and all we did was went after drug dealers. That was it. That was all we did. Went after drug dealers and busting, what the time was called crack houses, you know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Obviously that's changed now. But I learned a lot of valuable lessons there. I learned that folks can change, folks can be rehabilitated. Actually learned that up there firsthand, seeing it happening, So I learned a lot of good lessons up there. Was able to bring them back. I couldn't wait to get back to Scott County. Obviously, this is the place I love. I was with the state police for 25 years. Did the best we could, solving the problems we had. And now I decided to run for sheriff after I had 27 years in with state police. And here's the reason why I ran for sheriff. The only reason why I ran for sheriff. And I tell folks this, you know what I'm saying? before I've told them. Was when you're with the state police, you have to do what the superintendent of the state police says you do in Indianapolis. You got to follow his orders. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The superintendent of the state police, Indiana's a big state. Okay, it's different. It's different than it is in Scott County, than it is even in Clark County, or even than it is in Jackson County. Especially like it's different here than it is up in Lake County, Porter County, those counties. Okay, but the state police came with one. They wanted everybody to be the same, do the same things, and you couldn't do that. Obviously, and be successful as you wanted to do. We was obviously able to arrest folks, which we did a lot. You know, here when I was here, okay, as a state trooper. But I wanted to be the sheriff because I could be involved in making the changes that needed to be made.
So while you was doing all that, you was getting all these ideas of what could be done,
Absolutely.
and then you finally got
Building
to the point.
resources.
When I was with state police the last time, I was actually in went to all the major crime scenes in that office that I had there as the public information officer. If something bad happened, and unfortunately, if something bad happened, I was always the one that went there.
Yeah.
I learned so many things about people, about situations, about how to talk to folks, how to deal with folks in times of tragedy. I was able to bring that here. And I was able to bring the best that I saw from across the state. You know what I mean? It's like everybody always say when you take a job somewhere, they would say, hey, let's pick the best traits you see of whoever you're working with or whatever you're doing. Pick those best traits of that person and just don't do the other ones. I was able to pick the best traits that I thought was the best traits and do those and forget the other ones. And I'm just going to be honest with you. You know what the number one trait is? Compassion and caring about people.
I can see that.
Because people know when they do wrong.
All right, yeah, we're going to stop there. It's a little past the halfway mark, and now I'll do a part two probably before the week's up. It probably won't wait till next Friday. There'll probably be another one come out here very shortly. But as me and Jerry was talking, you know, he's still a metalhead because once you get that metal in your blood, you just can't get that metal out your blood. It's going to be there, and you always want a little bit. And if I remember right, Jerry, I think he was a fan of Man-O-War, so I found a little song by Man-O-War called Warriors of the World. So stay tuned for part two coming up soon. And remember, we're all warriors of the world.
Brothers everywhere, raise your hands into